Should be good. Yup. Testing 1, 2. There's the audio right there. All right. So, Assalamu alaikum. Peace. I'm Coach Nazir.
Assalamu alaikum, peace. I'm Coach Fatimah, his wife.
And I'm Coach Nyla. I'm also his wife.
We are the authors of the book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored. We're also the founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships. Now, if you see these things on our faces, that's because our camera is auto-focusing because not that technical when it comes to cameras. But what we want to do is actually discuss today something that's very, very important. Maybe it's not important, but it does impact the view when it comes to polygyny in particular. Now, just to let you know, I use these terms interchangeably. Polygamy and polygyny, really simply because when most people think of polygamy, they think of the way it's been historically practiced, a man with multiple wives. Well, guess what? There's a name for that. It's called polygyny. All right. So if I were to ask you the opposite, you might not know it, or at least I didn't know it, like polyandry. Like, who does that? Not many people, not successful societies in the past, anything like that. So when we say polygamy, we absolutely understand that it means a spouse who has multiple spouses. And the form we practice is polygyny, husband married to multiple wives, which these two young ladies next to me are. Now, with that being said, though, we want to jump really into polygyny myths. All right, these are the stereotypes. These are just things that when people say polygamy, they just get cringe. So I'm going to be back and forth in front of and behind the camera, and definitely see what's going on over there. That is different. So yeah, let's go. Now, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Let's talk.
I think one of the big things that I noticed, because Coach Nyla and I coach ambitious women who want to actually see how this is going to work. One of the big things is thinking that everything's an upgrade, or this marriage will fix this marriage. So get married again and it's going to fix it. It's going to fix the family. It's going to fix the legacy. It's going to fix everything. And that's just not the case. That's not the purpose for it. And people give a lot of power, especially women, give a lot of power to that notion that, oh, he just did this to fix her. No, he didn't do that to fix your marriage. You can't fix your marriage with that. With marrying again. A do-over. A do-over. Yeah, you can do it over.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like my brain is like, I've heard so many of them. And now it's like, I guess when you look at it's almost like when you look at a menu, there's a whole bunch of stuff on the menu, and you're like, okay, which where you start, which one to pick. One of a number of them is that, or one of many that we've heard a lot, that it destroys the family, it destroys the kids, those type of things. And we have seen a number of children who are like adults now who've been in polygynous households and families and things like that that's talked about, that spoke on that they had to grow, or that it was a different dynamic or something like that, and some that actually stated that that's all they knew. So it was like, we didn't even think it was something weird about it or crazy about it, to other people said something, or put their own ideas in their heads and everything like that, because they're like, we were just fine. So it's not that that's directly the case. It depends on the people involved and what they do. It's not that the marriage itself or the institution itself is the destruction of anything. It's the way that the members behave that can cause the destruction or growth of it, for that matter.
Another one that we get all the time.
This is registering how
that
loud we're talking.
Is that polygyny only benefits men. That's a huge one. They love that one. They go off. People get really, really mad about that, because it can absolutely have no benefit for women at all. So they've decided. This is the same society. Society has decided that it only benefits men, but this is the same society that has litter boxes in the bathroom because a child identifies as a cat. So the teacher gets fired if there's no litter box. It's just because you've misgendered, you've misidentified me, you called me the wrong animal, This is who I believe I am. And we're using that same society to measure whether this is okay or not, whether women benefit from polygyny or not. So we gotta check in with the mentally ill people and understand that that's just what it is. There's an illness, because now we're looking at something that's ancient and going, well, you know, that's not right. But who says? Where does that information come from? That it's not right, that it's not natural, that it's not normal, we shouldn't do it, it's a sin. You know, God created Adam and Eve, and that's it. And nobody else should be married at the same time. And it's really interesting, because one book that has not stayed the same. And we get accused of this, but the Quran has stayed the same, and they'll go, well, the Bible has not changed. I'm like, depends. You gotta look at your information and see what the source is. So there's a conditioning, a societal conditioning that says men have no capacity to practice polygyny. They can't do it. It's impossible. X, Y. I mean, you could go on and on and on and on.
You know, one of the myths is that polygamy is in and of itself just something that's oppressive. Period. Polygyny is simply a form of marriage. That's it. That's the facts. All right. Now, because we live in a society that is more a everybody gets a trophy just for showing up society, then what occurs is that very few try. Now, the fact of the matter is, we live in a very competitive world in society. That's what encourages and inspires change, innovation, growth, expansion, all of these things, right? So we love to back project. We take values that we have today and act as though they should be applied across all of human history, as though we are the standard bearers, if you will. All right. So just in the last couple of 100 years, with the changing of technology and the life we live and stuff like that, I mean, in reality, many of us, common folk, eat better than kings ate 100, 200, 300 years ago. All right. We have fruit that's from different seasons. We have ice. We have electricity at the fix. I haven't had to light a torch ever. You know what I'm saying? So this is brand new. We fly in big metal birds in the air. Again, 100 years ago, brand new, pretty dangerous. And we back project our values as though this is just what it is, what it's always been, and what it should have been. All right. So this is what I mean by this participation trophy culture. We look at every single area where you get awards. You get Emmy Awards, you get Oscars, you get basketball, you get the World Cup is playing right now, right? They playing for a trophy, for this recognition, and the best team is likely going to win, right? So we do that in sports and everything else. But when it comes to human achievement, it happens in architecture, it happens with dams, it happens with boats, it happens with cars, all of this types of stuff. When it comes to competition and growth, though, the things that innovate is the recognition, the rewards that come along with it. So when you're running a race, you get the gold medal versus silver medal, bronze, and you don't even place. That part doesn't even matter. People are still training for years for their 9 seconds of fame, if you will, or however long, whatever race that they're in. So when it comes to empires, when it comes to people of status, when it comes to growing big families, when it comes to just 100 years ago, thinking about my great-grandfather, for example, right? Down in Meridian, Mississippi, and having a farm and having 13 kids. One of the reasons for having a lot of kids is to have help on the farm. Owning land, having a big family. Man wants sons to really help with that in particular, right? And the more sons you have, the more strength and power you generally have, because not only can they help you work or something like that, but also defend yourself and learn and stuff like, it's almost the first time I shot a gun or a 22 rifle. I was 5 years old, down in Mississippi, where that was the norm. Okay, so I say that to say you have a family with 13 children, for example, that own land versus I got 2.5 kids and a picket fence and my dog. When it comes to expansion and growth, living on your own and having options and optionality, the bigger family generally wins. So this new idea of participation trophy, monogamy is just the way, it should only be the way and ever be the way, is alien to how we've been on this planet for the longest. And If you are the part that, you're the participation trophy person, you support that and all that, more power to you. But it's not going to win. If you think that having your child involved in the sport where they don't lose, where it's important to understand what it feels like to lose, because that should motivate you to get better, do better, and be better, so you can enjoy the thrill of winning. All right. So why I say that? Because we live in a culture that doesn't demand much. Everything's easy. Everything is instant gratification, so much so that children are losing focus. They have brain rot. Now shorts and reels are of the day because people don't have an attention span anymore to last more than 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Oh my God, a 20, 30-minute thing is a challenge. So I want to know some of your myths. And I'm not going to get into a big old lecture and everything else. We were having AV issues and stuff like that. But are you able to ask questions? Yes, Sherry Cherry 94. Ask some questions. Muhammad Kings, no doubt. All right. So one question you already asked, real quick. It says, I'm curious, would you let your daughter be a second wife? Okay, let me let you know something. 5 daughters, 5 girls, right? 4 biological babies, one bonus baby. All right, girls. They have 10 biological children, right? So out of these 5 girls, 2 of them already married, made us grandparents. You know what I'm saying? So 4 grandbabies too, right? Yeah, alhamdulillah. So, all right, 2 of them married. They desire monogamy. The 3 that I still have to find suitable husbands for say they want their husbands to practice polygyny. But what I let my daughters marry, I want to marry my daughters to some good quality men. The challenge is in finding those good quality men. It's much more difficult for women. I mean, they got less at-bats, if you will, necessarily than men. So to answer your question, of course, that's my daughter's decision. All right.
It's interesting that.
And I'll be back.
That was a good question, because that's actually another myth, I guess we can talk about, that being a second wife is like demeaning, degrading, and those different things like that. A client I had, she is a second wife, or she is a second wife. I can say she was a second wife because she's still married. And her family was like, but you're pretty and you're this and you're that. Like, why would you do that to yourself? She's like, this is a person that is compatible with me and understands me and gets me. It's like, this is not like some degrading type of thing. So that has been a thing so much around the board that you, as a second wife, incoming wife, additional wife, or whatever the case may be, that you are looked at as used goods, damaged goods, the person that is, oh, woo woo, let's, take in the stray and these type of things like that, that you are demeaning yourself for choosing, so to speak, polygyny, to be married in polygyny. So that comment, because I would have asked the question, why was that the question of would you allow your daughter to be a second wife? Not why would you allow your daughter to practice, would you allow your daughter to practice polygyny or be in a polygynous marriage? It was a specific number that you stated. And that would be like, why would that have been the issue, whether she was a first wife in polygyny versus a second wife in polygyny? So that's another myth, that because you're in polygyny, or that also that you're a second wife or an additional wife in polygyny, that it's demeaning or degrading, or something that should be looked down upon.
Where y'all from? Where y'all tuning in from? I meant to ask them that. Where y'all tuning in from? What country? What state? What's happening with you? So, and we see some other questions, so we're going to get to them. Welcome. If you haven't shared the link, please do. Make sure you are subscribed so that you can get notifications. Let me go to the next question. We are doing very well. Sherry Carey, thank you for asking. And you are currently 7.5 months pregnant. First of all, congratulations.
Congratulations.
She says, I'm the secondary wife. I'm going to say that you were second wife. The first wife hates me, and I really want us to come together. Is there anything I can do or should do? She looks at me as scum. All right, good question. What?
Just like killing me.
Yeah, I prefer not to be just monotone. She looks at me as scum because that's not how she feels at all. And she probably isn't saying it like that when you're typing it, but I bet you can get a kick out of me saying it like that, though, right? Yep. All right. So, first wife hates me. I really want us to come together. Is there anything I can do or should do? She looks at me as scum. So let's chime in on this because this is important too. This pretty much goes into another myth that you can make somebody be your friend. So, what say you, Coach Nyla?
People are responsible for their own feelings and the way they operate, the way they feel about you. I remember in a business that I was in a long time ago, that one of the statements was, what you think about me is none of my business, type of thing. And a lot of it goes into the reason why that was said is that, you know what, if I'm so focused on making you like me or these things like that, it's like I'm giving you the control, the power of my worth, of how I feel about myself. Well, that's how I took it anyway. And when it all comes down to it, you can't make a person like you. You can't make a person do anything. You can make you do something, but you can't make anybody else do what you want them to do. I said, even if you had a gun into a person's head, they still have the choice of either, take the bullet or, do whatever they are forced to do. So
yeah, but that's definitely a lot more persuasive.
Yeah, it's more persuasive, but it's still a choice.
I'm just saying.
It's more persuasive, definitely. But it's still a choice. And we have to understand that we all have choices. What you can do is what I say, stay in your lane. And what that means is focus on you, focus on your marriage, focus on building you, meaning that stay in your personal development, focus on your growth. And if it's for her to come around and you guys become chummy or whatever the case may be, then so be it. You should welcome that. You should welcome that. However, don't force it. Focus on your growth. And you can't make anybody do something that you want them to do. They're going to do whatever they want. Another saying was a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Meaning that even if they pretended like, or even they act like they like you, in the back of their mind, they still don't. So you can't make a person do, what you want them to do.
And this is another thing too. If you think about being in a room, the thing is, it's really middle school. But if you think about being in a room with a bunch of people and the person that looks at you like you're scum, and you're not in this dynamic, would you talk to them? Would you care about that? And I would say talk to the people that want to talk to you and not focus so much on the person that doesn't. Because like Coach Nyla said, they've made a decision that they don't like you. And my advice to people that are that way, you cannot like somebody, but you don't have to look at them like you hate them either. You don't have to like each other. You don't have to. But being cordial and being respectful is always, that's an act of human civility. I think people should examine that more, specifically in the area of polygyny, because we have someone in common. And we have, whether you accept it or not, you have someone in common. And that's your husband. And if you have children, those children that you have with your husband or your co-wife has with her husband too, that's her husband too, they're siblings. They're siblings, and our children are watching us. So you don't have to be friends, but you don't have to be a jerk either. So when people don't want to talk to you, look around for the people that do, and I know some wives, they'll, you have to ask yourself a question. I had to ask myself a question that had nothing to do with Coach Nazir at all. I had to ask myself, just as a woman, am I passing up someone that would bring something to my life that I could benefit from outside of us just being Coach Nazir's wives? Like, are you passing up a good person? You know, because you might be emotional, you might be upset, you might have past hurt, or whatever the case may be. You know, ask yourself, not you specifically, but I would say wives should ask themselves that. You know, are you judging the person just because they exist and they married your husband in your mind? Um, Ask some deeper questions. I think a lot of times co-wives pass up on good people because they don't want to get to know each other. They're just mad, and it's really displaced anger. Sometimes you're mad at yourself and it has nothing to do with your co-wife, or your husband did something and you don't understand it, and you might not have asked him, you know, the right questions, or wanted to listen to the answer because it's not the one you want. So there's, you know, and I've seen worse where women have gotten into it and they end up being close, or they end up apologizing to one another and going, you know what, I really hate that I acted like that, you know, and they'll end up laughing about it ultimately. So yeah, think about it deeper.
All right. So my perspective is that what would you tell, first of all, this 7.5-month-old baby, let's say 5.5 years now that she was entering kindergarten, all right? And back when I was that age, we had playgrounds. I think you said playgrounds, but they had sandboxes with actual sand in it, right? So there's some kid that's acting mean in the sandbox that doesn't like him for whatever reason. Are you going to tell them to just go ahead and keep on trying, keep on trying, keep on trying? All right. I mean, what would you really tell somebody that you love in that type of situation? Many times we know the answer to these things. Now, the challenge is, of course, you have somebody in common. You're both married to him. So what can you do to make her change around? Not much. Not much. She has her own ability or her own agency. All right. And whatever's causing her to do that, that's her issues. Whatever it may be. All right. However immature it may be, however dumb, misplaced, fearful, whatever. Those things are things. But the main thing is that you don't let it necessarily change you. You're married to a man, not to her. All right. So you knowing that, you could always, again, being cordial, being who you are, being positive and everything else, you're part of that family. You still be the sunshine for him, who you married to, your marriage. That can't bring dark clouds on your marriage and you're not married to her. That will be a problem on your end. You know what I'm saying? So let her deal with however she needs to deal with things and process stuff like that. You know, I would talk more to the men in the situation and explaining or expressing what they're being able to articulate what their long-term vision is for the family. See, one of the challenges for me at the beginning was like, basically, I was like, okay, well, this is what Islam requires. So, you know, this is kind of the minimum. You don't necessarily have to be friends and be cool, whatever, but at least being cordial. Because they were looking for my leadership to be like, okay, well, what do you want? How do you want this to look? I'm like, I'm brand new. I don't really know, but, you know, Islam says this. That's cool that Islam says that, and that's fine, which means there's flexibility and stuff that goes with it. But if I want to articulate how I want my family to be and to grow and everything like that, then I need to go ahead and express that in my expectations of that behavior. That doesn't mean, you know, you're going to be her friend. You can't make anybody be friends. That's not going to happen. Okay. Now you can be friendly. You can be kind, all that kind of stuff. There's things like, you know what? Probably not the best word to use, but kill them with kindness. All right. Don't kill them, but using kindness, you understand what the term means, right? So being that type of person, that's fine. That's great. But ultimately you understand that that person can have that complex or issue for the rest of their lives. All right. The fact of the matter is, in the U.S., if you're in the U.S., I don't know if you mentioned where you're from. I see that Muhammad says he's from Guinea, but he's currently in Maryland representing. So if you're in the U.S., almost 1 in 4 of every person, this is including children, is on some type of mental health psychotropic drug. Think about that. So you're in a room with 100 people. 40 of them are medicated for mental health issues. Think about that. That's a whole nother level. So with that being said, just keep in mind, maybe it's untreated or undiagnosed stuff. Who knows? But you, be you. Don't let that change who you are. Be the husband, be the wife, be the mother, be all of that type of stuff, and focus on your marriage and growing that in a healthy fashion. And prayerfully, she'll come around if he chooses to kind of increase his leadership and set some expectations. All right. And he can still set expectations and she's still on her own.
I'm going to add to that also. I think that, I'm talking about the behavior, not what you said. Behavior don't make no kind of sense to me. The one thing we should remember too, I know it's hard because when you're in it, it's so hard. When you're in it, somebody doesn't like you. Some people do these things because they want attention. Don't give them the attention that they want, especially negative attention, and take no note of it because you're not married to your co-wife, like Coach Nazir was saying. And it's really important to understand that I've seen like some really brutal interactions with co-wives. I mean, there's been dinners, picnics, there's been all types of Eid prayer. Some things can go left during that time, celebrations. It's really messed up because that shouldn't be the focus at all. But sometimes tantrums can look differently than we think they do. They can look much different than we think they do. And sometimes it's this evil eye stuff and these daggers and things like that. Now, some women might have a valid reason for being upset, but I'm telling you, treating someone like they're less than human because your feelings are hurt is not the way to go. It's not mature. If you need to have a conversation, that's good. And you don't have to have it face to face. You can email, you can text, you can do all types of things. And sometimes you'll find out that they're dealing with something and it's not even about you. They're just projecting it onto you because you're right there in front of them. And they're mad at their husband. They can't do it to him, then they're gonna do it to you. They're gonna try to bully you because they can't bully him. Right? We're looking for a lot of women are trying to mother their husbands instead of being a wife to them.
And not learning how to be wives these days. We used to have home economics and used to teach this stuff way back in the day. I think it was the 80s when they started phasing it out. And we caught like the back end of it in the 90s. I don't know if you were born in the 90s, y'all. I'm just saying. Or even, the 1900s at all. Many people are letting us know that, I was a baby. I was born in 2000.
Or they weren't around at all.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so since we've discussed it, we might absolutely be your aunts, uncles' ages, parents even. Here's the thing. So here's another question. She says, my husband is still young. Any advice on how I can convince him to meet with Coach Nazir? He feels he doesn't want people in his business. But to me, he needs guidance.
LOL.
Legacy over lifestyle. This video I just did on that. Well, all right. There's a couple things. When it comes to men, there's a way to influence in a proper fashion. All right, because men generally are the leaders of the family. They are the imams of the family, right? And taking advice on what you should do is not the best way. He should be told how to do something. Like, you should do this, you should do talking down, as in like Coach Fatimah said, trying to mother him, trying to tell him what to do type stuff, right? So, so now as a wife, and a wise wife will influence usually with questions, not some interrogating questions, but questions like, let's watch this, or what you think about this video, blah, I'm talking about all of us. All right, we have plenty of videos out. I'm sharing all kind of mistakes that I made. Not proud of them, but I'm sharing them because we didn't have those type of videos to really go to begin with. All right, in our world, we're amazing with these mistakes, but prayerfully, people can benefit from it. We can get different barakah. We can empower people, right? So I share a bunch of mistakes that we made. And also, we set up the frame spectrum code to go ahead and help you diagnose yourself. For example, anybody can go to polygamyquiz.com. It's free. Really find out where you are on the spectrum between C1 to C7. See what areas you need to strengthen when it comes to frame, because there's a masculine frame and a feminine frame. And the better you get at these, the more strong, the more competent, and the more attractive you are and respectable you are. So polygamyquiz.com. Go there. All right. When he finishes, he'll know what level he is. And only he's going to know that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know if I look all in the details, but I don't know your husband. That's not my business. If he wants me to contact him or reach out, there's an option for him to put his phone number stuff in there. He'll see how to be able to reach out and contact me privately, confidentially. All right. I have playbooks for people and stuff like that. I'm not like, who are the thousands of people? Who are these people? That's not my business, man. We putting this stuff here as a resource to really equip and empower individuals. But one of the main things that we all have, men and women, but especially men, when it comes to rating ourselves, I talk to men quite frequently. And for some reason, whatever reason, I just think it's ego. We rate ourselves too high in different areas of our lives. It is what it is. Study was even done on children when it comes to that, boys and girls and stuff. Pre-puberty, boys rate themselves real high, girls way smarter than them in certain areas. Then testosterone kick in, their strength come in. They still rate themselves high. That's how more boys end up unalived younger, because they do really daring stuff, thinking they can get I had friends of mine doing backflips off roofs. All right. So off garage roofs and everything else, doing backflips, doing all kind of crazy stuff. Just, did I do that? Not at all. But I'm just saying, some of my friends did some stupid things, and some of them no longer here.
He did us.
Yeah. I did.
I
did funny. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Yours was
So the point is, we have big egos. So I usually ask men to rate themselves in different areas of their life on a scale of 1 to 10 without using 7. And a lot of times you get 8s, you get 9s. I'm like, bro, I don't stop them like that immediately, but I ask questions. Like, do you really think you're masculine as an 8 if you have to hide emails or lock this out or or your wife will see an email just on polygamy, or you're reading a blog on it, or your YouTube history shows that you're watching a video about polygamy, and then she's going to throw a whole fit, so you got to clear your cache and close your browser? That's not an 8 masculinity, bro. What number is it really? All right, so I have to challenge you. We just have egos in these areas. So you don't want anybody's business. I get it. That's why the most successful people in polygyny, you don't even know them. We had to make that choice. Are we going, once we got to a decent level, are we going to share with other people and so on? Or are we going to just kind of fall back and be quiet? Clearly, we chose the former. So one of the ways I suggest is showing some different videos, throwing some different stuff, links, and so on and so forth, having discussions about it, because we're going to do a call to action. Find out where you are. Go to polygamyquiz.com. If you go to polygamyquiz.com, and we know the camera's out because it's doing what it's doing, but you go there and you'll be able to find out where you're at.
Well, the funny part is a few of our clients came by way of their husbands sharing their videos from YouTube. So that's the cool part. And they're like, he sent me your video. I said, he must love you a lot. He must love you a whole lot if he's sending you our videos, because he's trying to find a solution and he doesn't know how to explain it, or he's new to things. So if he sent our video to you, he loves you a great deal.
Indeed. So what other myths are we going to bust in this next 15 minutes?
I'll say one is that your husband belongs to you, or he's your property, which means you can control him, because we all can control our property. So when they say my man, my husband, mine, show have a funky attitude tonight. So yes, they'll say my husband and he's mine, and I told him he wasn't ready, and I'm like, I don't want a wife. I want a husband. I don't want somebody that, you know what, go over here, sit over there, stand over there, marry here, marry when I say you're ready. You can't tell a grown man when he's ready to do a thing. So let's play a game, Coach. So when you picked out this outfit today, did you come find me to see if you could wear it?
Nope.
What about brushing your teeth?
Not at all.
Did you leave today? You didn't tell me. You didn't get my permission though.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see how crazy I sound? I sound crazy. And you all are sitting there going, wow.
Now, she don't come to me to be like, can I wear this today, though, either?
Yeah,
permission to leave? No
wait
doubt.
a minute. Hold on.
I don't be like, yes, you may wear that today. No, you didn't wear that today.
We're putting Coach Nyla into it. We know the rules. There's boundaries, though. So we're not sitting here in transparent clothes,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, no doubt.
We're not sitting here in see-through scarves and dresses and things like that, because you can be covered up and absolutely have on something sheer. So we already know what the rules are, right? And this is, we're talking about Islam, but if you overstep or you do something that you're not supposed to do, whether you're married or not, then we know what the boundaries are. But when women say, because that's clear, but when women think that their husband is their property or they have some type of ownership over them, which means I get to tell you when I feel like this family is ready for you to practice polygyny. It sounds just as insane to me as telling your husband, you didn't get my permission for this fit, you didn't get my permission to eat today, you didn't get my permission to use the bathroom, all the things that he's supposed to be able to do as an adult. And one of those things that he's supposed to be able to do as an adult is decide that he wants to marry again with certain qualifications. But we don't like that because we've said my man too much and my husband too much. Yeah, I'll say it because I'm trying to make a point, but I don't say it because I own him. Because if you owned him, you could stop him, right? That's what you do with property. You can stop it and control it, and be the puppet master. Oh, and it's absolutely, we talk about women being oppressed in polygyny, but we rarely talk about the oppression that can happen in monogamy when we don't bring up the conversations or have the conversation or listen to the conversations about polygyny. Because I feel like men feel oppressed too. I'm telling you.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm just saying that's a thing. He's mine.
Participation trophies. You want to say something?
There it is.
All right. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Every day must see you. Where you tuning in from? What state? What city? What country? All right. Now, Shahnaz Yusuf says, Salams. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In case you don't know, I like to read questions and comments in a more narrative voice, an expressive, non-monotone way. So you may not be reading this like this, but I'm going to read it like this. You might not have typed it in this way with whatever voice you put. Scenario: if two wives agree, wife one wants extra time for kids' activities, example, school trips. Can OPR mention how that can be arranged, please? Wives agree to it. All right. You want to address that? All right. Okay. Here's the deal. First of all, it doesn't matter what the wives agree to. All right. The husband is the one that has the final say when it comes to the schedule, the calendar. All right. He has to determine how the stuff's going to work. Now, if you're just talking about what Islam says, there's lots of flexibility. So if there wants to be extra time at a house, another house, and the wife forfeits some time or something like that, that's absolutely allowable. You have the ability to do that as a family, as a team, stuff like that. All right, husband and wife, you can do that if you want. But the wife is not the one that's deciding that. So that's important to understand. Second, stuff like the kids are not on the schedule. His children are his children. They don't have a schedule. They don't need any type of anything like I'm putting the kids in this time and it's going to be on this day because these are children I have with her. So I'm going to be at this house. That's not how that works. Your children can be with you at whatever house you at. Your houses. You know what I'm saying? So that must be understood and separated because many times that's a tactic that's utilized to become part of what Coach Fatimah and Nyla was saying, being oppressive. Oh, well, you got married. We already have 4 kids. So he's going to have to spend 4 times the amount of time here at this house because he's going to spend time with each child plus my time. So, girl, you're going to get Wednesdays only. You know what I'm saying? Or 2 days, and we're going to get 5 or something like that. That's not how that works. You know what I'm saying? So polygyny, again, is regarding women. Now, again, if you agree to certain things, then the husband can make the decision on whether or not that's legit or not. Or if he has to make up some time, how he decides to make it up is how he decides to make it up. For example, let's say it's 3 days And 3 days as in like 8 hours because you're counting the nighttime because daytime he needs to run to his business. So let's say it's 8 hours. So 3 days is 24 hours. That's a full day. He could take and simply leave one house earlier for 2 hours earlier, and make that up over 12 different days. And now there's a 24 hours. All right, but that's his responsibility, not theirs. What?
No, I'm listening to your math.
Yeah. So anyway, the point is, he still has to be the one to decide that. He's still the leader. All right, he's still the one, the decider when it comes to these things. Having communication about it, all the stuff is important. Whatever reasoning and stuff that gets put there, whether that's, this is for the kids, there's this and this and that, that's cool. You can say these things, but just know that in Islam, that doesn't matter. You still have to be fair. You have to be equitable. You have to be just. All right, so prayerfully, that helps there. Again, there is flexibility, plenty flexibility, but there's also plenty opportunity for manipulation and stuff that goes along with it. So, and if you see as a wife that you're the one that tends to be conceding or capitulating the majority of the time, then that might lean more toward manipulation than actual cooperation. But there's ways to deal with that and figure it out where it is. So, like I said, go to polygamyquiz.com and see where you are on that C7 spectrum. So,
Looking at this question.
What? Phoenix, Arizona? Oh, that's where you're from, bro? Nice, good stuff. How the Prophet ﷺ inspired your marriages? Okay. I was a new Muslim. As a new Muslim, I was like, I've known this lady, loved this lady and all this stuff for several years. I met her when I was a kid, freshman year in high school. Well, there's certain things you really can't do, ain't supposed to be doing unless you're married. So I'm like, I need to get married. Islam says do this. So guess what? It's time to get married. That's number one, inspired that. Coming from Kufr to Islam and like, I need to be practicing Islam better. I need to be a better Muslim, all that. So I need to get married. Period. That's number one. And number two, when it came to polygyny, even before meeting Coach Nyla or anything like that, or be a father of my marriage, I'm like, I want to experience all of Islam, regardless. Like, I want to live under Islamic State. I want to participate with the Muslims that go out and conquer and I want to do all of these. I want to live under Islam, like the companions did, like, during these glorious times of Islam, right? And that isn't necessarily a reality right now, period, ever since I was born, at least for the last 100 years or so. But that should be the wish of every single movement, right? So experiencing all of Islam, I mean, you want to practice polygyny. You want to have a big family and all that kind of stuff. Now, when I first, got married, I'm thinking, hey, we'll have, like 2 or 3 kids, or maybe 4, 2 boys, 2 girls. Like I'm in charge of what's going to hit the egg and all that kind of stuff. I had 4 girls first, by the way, followed by 6 boys. So yeah. So when it came time for polygyny and there's things I'm still trying to get right and everything else and evaluate, I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna practice polygyny. Now, looking at myself on the spectrum, I was more C4 on the thing, wasn't prepared properly and all that kind of stuff. And again, I go into that, but there was no frame spectrum code then. Matter of fact, 5 years ago, there was no frame spectrum code. We recently came up with that after a lot of reverse engineering and putting things together. So inspired it that way, as in, the Prophet ﷺ practiced polygyny. I want to practice polygyny too. You know what I'm saying? So there's 3 things the Prophet ﷺ said in particular that forgives all your sins. All right. 1, coming from Kufr to Islam. Alhamdulillah. I used to be a Kafir. I used to be a Christian. Raised Christian school, kindergarten to 10th grade. So I know the Bible thoroughly. Disowned our religion. Became technically agnostic. Didn't want anything to do with Islam. Even though I respected Malcolm, saw the movie, all that stuff. I was like, look, man, the dude that was telling you about it, he wasn't living well. And I saw it was very disciplined. I was like, I'm not giving him a weed, women, baby back ribs. That's just not why. Retarded, I know, but it is what it is. So, alhamdulillah, that's the first thing. Come from Kufr to Islam. The second thing, performing Hajj. If you perform Hajj and it's accepted Hajj, then you're like a newborn baby, sins are forgiven. The third thing, to make hijrah. Make hijrah fi sabilillah. All right, so we talking to you from a place where the sun actually recently just set, so we got to go pray and everything else, and that's some dinner. Despite where you may be, I mean, now at least it's cooling down. It's about 100 today, so I don't know what it is in Phoenix, but we battling that right now, right? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, those 3 things in particular. So as you grow and develop and mature and stuff like that, of course, if you are a practicing Muslim, you're gonna want more of Islam. You want to be around what you want to be around that and that lifestyle and everything else. So yeah, I would answer it like that without going on too long because I've been talking much more than my wives and they have a lot of wisdom to share. So I'm hoping that they do. All right. He said he got the book. He's enjoying the book, by the way. Cracked up at the, I'm not giving my plants to my women and my baby back ribs. When I say plants, I said weed. I wasn't giving up my weed. Red bud, I wasn't giving it. I was just, it didn't make any sense either. I wasn't like a Snoop head, a chronic head like that. But I did enjoy my bus back in the day. One last question. What do you guys do for fun? Do the guy have fun right now? What do you do for fun? Fun, natural fun. Oh my gosh. And pop your head.
I can't believe it popped into yours. This song.
Who is it? I don't even know
The
that.
Tom Tom Club.
The fact that she knew the Tom Tom Club. I remember the song. That's like a famous song. I don't remember the song. I just remember that part of the song. What's it called?
Genius of Love.
Genius of Love.
You would quote that song.
Fun, natural fun. Well, I don't, whatever. So yeah, what do we do for fun? What do we do for fun? That's a very general question.
I mean, I think we all do different things for fun. So, but as a family, like we went, what is that thing called when we went to the family fun park and went on the water ride and stuff like that. That
the
was
water
a
rafting,
lot of fun
the lazy river
for everybody.
Yeah.
But it could look different.
Adventure park.
Each coach, you know what I'm saying? So you won't see Coach Nazir burst in a song, but you might see Coach Nyla and I, we might burst in a song.
They just heard me singing, fun.
Yeah, but see, this be on YouTube though. We do this when the camera is off. But no, he might bust a rhyme, but we'll actually finish each other's little show tunes and stuff. That's fun to me. But like I like doing art in my free time, but when we're together as a family, I just remember we've been on horseback and been on the water rides, and we've been at theme parks, and the kids we stood there and watched the kids go round and round and round, and that's fun for me because I'm watching them and we're watching them have a good time, so that makes us happy. So there's many things we do. We have game night, different things like that, and
yeah, what did we watch last
we've been
week?
known to do some karaoke.
What do you watch? Hoppers.
We've had movie night.
Yeah, we had family. What's today? Today's Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah, like last weekend or whatever.
She's cosplaying Monday.
Yeah, we
feel like Monday.
We do all kind of stuff. I mean, we just had a yacht trip. We were on the yacht.
That was fun.
On the Red Sea. You know what I'm saying? So give it a lot. Eat. Yeah, we forget the kids. The kids ain't we'll eat the kids.
And Coach Nyla and I, we went out, like we'll go to the mall and shop and like sit there and chill. We could just talk to the sun come up the next day. We boba babies. We boba babes.
Yeah, we can.
So yeah, we can get.
Guys, do for fun. All right, it's 92. Time for Doha. So before Doha, 92. Hot out in Phoenix, no doubt. Phoenix is nice. Well, considering it's in the United States still. How many of y'all made a peace and blessing? And peace, blessings, and mercy of Allah Ta'ala upon you. All right, y'all. We done prayerfully. You got some good information. And if you have not taken the polygamy quiz, go to polygamyquiz.com. Find out where you are. Matter of fact, if you have taken a polygamy quiz and has been more than 30 days ago, then you want to go right now because we updated a number of different things in it and even tightened up much better. So with that being said, that's it. You have anything else?
That's it.
Anything else?
Y'all got our best tonight.
All right. And we'd like to see y'all next week. Feel free to share.
It's your best.
Feel free to share because sharing
is caring. It's caring.
All right, y'all.
Sharing.
They gonna rock out with you. Oh, one last thing. This is like the first thing I thought about. Of course, the first should be last. The last should be first.
That's a good T-shirt.
Now I already know what that means, y'all. If y'all don't know what that means, my understanding of what that is actually a Bible word. So the first should be last and last should be first. I think that deals with nations. All right. So the first shall be last. The Yahoo shall be last, and the last, this mu'mineen, will be first. At least from my understanding of that. So with that being said, what I thought about was one of the myths is that y'all live together. Like we're in the same house right now.
Oh, yeah.
No, we don't live together. That's like a myth. You all have to all live together.
this
You
is-
have a room.
This
and-
is a false wall. We could just this cardboard behind.
It's so
us.
much of a myth that
Studio.
if you say polygyny, like if you Google or kind of like ask a question
Mhm.
about polygyny in Google, it'll act like you're just in, like it's automatically goes with it's in the same house. You know that everybody lives in the same house.
sharing
So, yeah.
chores and
Yeah,
all that
exactly. I'm
kind of
like,
stuff.
Next
and-
door
No.
to each other, but not the same.
right,
Same building, nothing.
Yeah.
right. So, yeah, not the same house. That's a myth. Yeah, that's that.
Some people do. We didn't
Yeah, we're not gonna do that. So,
know.
with that being
No.
said, y'all, we appreciate you. Remember, we want you to be outstanding, but in order to be outstanding, you have to be willing to stand out. Because average is nothing but the top of the bottom, or the bottom of the top. We want you to be outstanding. So we're gonna leave you some GLC, which is
Make sure you're growing intentionally.
Loving fearlessly
and connecting on a higher level every single day.
Yay, yay.
Assalamu alaikum, y'all.
Assalamu
Peace.
alaikum.
No, I didn't almost forget that part. No.
What do we say? Which is
Stop that line.